Trump just signed an order saying he's going to declassify all of the files regarding the assassinations of RFK, JFK, and MLK. And today we're going to talk a little bit about JFK and all the conspiracies that followed along with this, and just because it's so controversial. So, what exactly happened? Well, 2 days after the assassination of JFK, the man accused of the crime, Lee Harvey Oswald, was gunned down on live television. Just like that, one of the most important figures in modern history was silenced forever. But what happened to Lee Harvey Oswald? Was he just an unstable man who acted alone, or was he a pawn in a much larger conspiracy? Conspiracy designed to eliminate him before he could reveal the truth. Let's dive into this mystery and uncover the secrets between Lee Harvey Oswald's death. So, it was supposed to be a routine transfer. Lee Harvey Oswald, the alleged assassin of President Kennedy, he was moved from the Dallas police headquarters to the county jail, but as cameras rolled and reporters swarmed the basement, one man stepped forward from the crowd, and that man was Jack Ruby. He was born with the name Jacob Rubenstein. Ruby fired a single 38 caliber bullet into Oswald's abdomen live on television. Oswald collapsed and was rushed to Parkland Memorial Hospital, same hospital where JFK had been pronounced dead just 2 days earlier. But this wasn't just a shocking act of vigilante justice, this was something much darker. Jack Ruby wasn't just a random citizen overcome with emotion. He was a nightclub owner with deep ties to the Dallas police and, more importantly, the criminal underworld. Ruby was known to associate with figures in organized crime like the Mafia, who also wanted JFK dead. Ruby claimed that he killed Oswald to spare Jackie Kennedy the pain of a public trial, but does that story really hold up? Now let's take a closer look. If you believe the official story, Ruby's actions were impulsive and emotional, but the truth, in my opinion, is far more sinister. Killing Oswald served one key purpose, and that was silencing him. Let's explore who would have benefited from Oswald's death, and let me tell you what, from the conspiracies, there is quite a few of them. Number one, the Mafia. JFK's brother, Robert Kennedy, was leading a crackdown on organized crime. Mob bosses had plenty of reasons to want Kennedy brothers out of the picture, and by killing Oswald, they would eliminate the risk of any inconvenient confessions. Number two, the CIA. They have their own conflict going on because after the failed Bay of Pigs invasion, tensions between JFK and the CIA were at an all time high. Kennedy blamed the agency for the disastrous operation and even threatened to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces. Could Oswald have been connected to covert CIA operations that went wrong? Was he eliminated to prevent any embarrassing revelations? Who knows? Next, we have Lyndon B. Johnson, and a lot of people said, of course, this is someone that benefits when the president goes out, but Lyndon B. Johnson always was starving for more power. At least that's what it looked like to the people that were under his vice presidency. And then this also translates into Israel and AIPAC. So John F. Kennedy had clashed with the Israeli prime minister at the time over nuclear ambitions, and JFK was adamant about preventing nuclear proliferation and demanded inspections of Israel's Dimona nuclear facility, leading to a very tense relationship. He also pushed for a pro Israel lobbying group, including AIPAC, to register as a foreign agent under US law. After Kennedy's death, these efforts vanished, and the US Israel relationship shifted dramatically. Candace Owens talked about this in a podcast clip, so I want to watch it because she does a really good job explaining exactly what happened.
I want to speak a bit about Lyndon Baines Johnson because there is a picture that seems to be emerging. And so I guess I'll sort of ask questions because there's other big events from around that time period that are similarly classified in a way that doesn't really make sense. Lyndon Baines Johnson, the nation did not vote for him to be president of the United States, obviously.
Yes.
JFK was assassinated. And it is a fact that prior to his assassination, he was adamant that he wanted AIPAC, which I think was going by a different name at that time, to register as a foreign agent, and that they had ignored his demand that they register as a foreign agent. And then when he was shot a couple of months later, he no longer had to register. They no longer had to register as a foreign agent. It is also a fact that leading up to his death, he was having fights, which they have not declassified, arguments with the prime minister of Israel at that time, Ben Gurion. They have, again, not declassified any of those conversations, so we don't know what it was that they were arguing about, but I would imagine Lyndon Baines Johnson would have known that he had this sort of contentious relationship, obviously, with them trying to implement APAC and not wanting it to be registered as a foreign agent, and obviously him having arguments as a number two guy. You would think that he would know this. And before Muammar Gaddafi, the president of Libya, was murdered by us, arming insurgents, he gave a speech in front of the UN where he demanded that they investigate the killing of JFK. And he said, everybody knows that he was trying to stop their nuclear armament. He spoke about the nuclear reactor, and he had heavily suggested in that speech in the UN that that was another, perhaps that could have been the reason that he was arguing with the prime minister. Of course, we'll never know. And so it's quite shocking to know that information, to realize that JFK got killed, and to also know that the person who allegedly shot him, Lee Oswald Harvey, said he didn't shoot him, didn't kill him, and then he was shot by a guy named Jacob Rubinstein, who Muammar Gaddafi alleges was also an Israeli national. Maybe he had dual citizenship. I'm not sure because, again, we don't have the files. I'm just speaking about what has been said in the public sphere. It's kind of shocking that Lyndon Baines Johnson would be such an ally to Israel, so much so that he would tell people, I don't care if American sailors die, I'm not going to embarrass Israel, which means he didn't inherit JFK's frustration with the nation.
He did not. If you remember, he says, you had a friend in JFK of Israel, but I'm going to be a much better friend. You have a better friend than you ever did.
When it comes to the JFK assassination conspiracy, there's so many different ways that you can go. What makes the most sense in my head, if we're talking conspiracies, is what Candace just said. And then second, I would rank the CIA. But who knows? Maybe they're all working together. And we'll never know until the files get released. Trump said he signed an order to declassify them. There's proof, and I'll show you here as we end. But I'm curious to know, what do you guys think went down? I didn't even mention half of the conspiracies, but these are just the most popular ones. But take a look at this clip, and we'll see you next time.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed. Okay? Give that to RFK.
Yes, sir.